Hello, I'm Paul Weiss, and I want to show you over the next several months and maybe years some of the neat things that I've been doing for home power, homesteading, farming, and making your home or apartment more energy efficient. I hope you can join me for this series. It's going to be very exciting, and I have a lot of neat projects that I've done all over my home that you could maybe do at your facility, whether it's an apartment or a house or a yard or a farm or a homestead. Some ideas that you can take home, and I want to show you some of the new technologies that are coming out and how I've embraced them and also how I use them in my house, which is pretty close to being sort of off the beaten path, off grid, so to speak. Alright, today I have a new thing that I just purchased. It is a wood chipper that's 100% electric powered, and it works pretty much off of a wall charger, a wall plug rather, and I'll show you some of the details of that, what it looks like, how it works, and why I bought it. It's a very exciting unit and looks pretty neat, so we're going to explore a new electric wood chipper today. So here's my Patriot electric wood chipper, and you can see this unit has a pretty honkin' big electric motor on the back with power cord coming out the back side. Basically it sits on two wheels, and it has a pretty big chipper unit in the middle, and in this chute here you can put your branches in, and it goes down to a big wheel that grinds them up, and it actually spits those out this chute, which I'll show you in a minute. We have a bag that we can put on too. And then also on the top side of this unit is a hopper that you can put debris like leaves and kind of herbaceous material into, that will grind it up into a format that will be good for composting. So this unit, it's about waist high. It's about 100 pounds, probably a little bit more, but it's on wheels. You can kind of see that it has a handle here, and you can just lift it up and move it with the wheels. It's not too hard to move. Has a little leg that sticks out the back side here. One important thing is that this is a very powerful motor, electric motor, and it uses a lot of electricity when it's running, so you really need to plug it into a power cord that's, according to the manufacturer, no longer than 100 feet and what we call 12 gauge thickness of the wire. So this is really thick extension cord. This is an outdoor heavy-duty 12 gauge extension cord, and that has to be done because you need to plug this into a dedicated 12 to 15 amp circuit, and I'll show you what that looks like. Now I just have in my garage, the other end of this cord, a 15 amp dedicated circuit. So there's nothing else on the circuit now, and you can see I sometimes put my chop saw into there, which needs a lot of electricity for short periods of time. But this is a dedicated 15 amp circuit. It kind of looks the same as any other circuit, but it's higher amperage than a regular wall outlet. So if you want to use this chipper, you really need to make sure you get a dedicated circuit for it. You probably have several in your house besides your stove and your refrigerator. There's probably one or two in your house that are this high amperage. You just got to figure out which ones they are. You can follow them from your electric panel in your basement and see the amperage reading of the fuse or the circuit breaker, or maybe you know what they are, but that is what it needs. It's not a regular, it looks like a regular wall outlet, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it's a higher amperage rating. So we're going to try to plug in our electric cord, our very 12 gauge electric cord, into the unit. And now on this unit, you can see the discharge is this metal flap here that kind of keeps big branches from flying out, or big chunks. So it comes with this bag. You don't have to have a bag, but you can. And basically, you're just going to tighten this bag unit up over the outside of that flap, and that should catch all of the chips and debris and let them flow into the bag as opposed to shooting across the yard. So this is just a drawstring kind of nylon bag that probably will fill up pretty quickly once the unit's on. So we're just going to try testing out whether they've got power and the unit's working right now. Did go on. It's got some noise to it, but it's a lot quieter than a gasoline powered unit. The only thing that I did see, which would probably be good, is putting a block behind the wheels so that the unit doesn't drift down the driveway. So I'm going to look for some wood and see if I can put some blocks under the wheels so that when they use it, it's not moving around. I have it on a paved surface, so it should be good on a grass surface a little bit better. So another important thing here is to always use a safety helmet with eye protection. This has a screen here, and then also gloves, safety gloves. Always be careful. If you want, you can also put on these ear protection if you need it. So far this unit isn't super loud, but it can get loud. Not quite as loud as the gas one. That's one of the reasons why I purchased it, because it's a lot quieter than the gasoline units, which are really horribly loud. Alright, I'm going to turn the unit on. So the unit works pretty well. As you can see, it pulls the branches right into that chute on the side there, and you can really feel it tugging, pulling in. You just got to let them feed in. I would say when you get a little in there, it really gets fed by the next branch, so you got to continuously feed stuff in. They do sell a little unit to push down into that tube, because you don't want to get your hands anywhere near into there. So that would, I guess, be the only drawback, but I think all units are like that. So far, pretty amazing. I mean, you can take a look at these chips. So here's the bag, those branches that you just saw, and here's the bag of what this stuff chops up to be. It's kind of cool. It's really nice, really chopped up chips for the most part. A couple little branches came through, but really it's nice wood chips. This was a cherry, a crab cherry tree, or black cherry rather, and that's some beautiful wood. Actually has a really nice smell to it. Cherry chips, you'd probably pay a fortune if you wanted to buy this kind of wood chip here. But here you go, essentially free wood chips. And with my new Patriot electric wood chipper, you don't need to go out and buy a gasoline unit. I mean, this will do up to 2.5-inch branches, so that's a pretty thick branch. You know, that's like that thick. Anything bigger than that, you're going to want to probably cut, split, and burn if you have a wood stove like I do. So really, this will cover what you need for most, you know, small-sized yards or gardens or back of an apartment building, whatever. This will really cover. It'll grind up most of what you need. So far, I'm very happy with the way it works. Its relative quietness, and you know, how I can get rid of brush piles. I have so many brush piles that are getting enormous, you know, 10-12 feet brush piles that I would normally let the wood just break down and rot, but I've kind of run out of space of brush piles, so this is a really nice option to have. And I always use these wood chips. I actually put them under my solar panels, which is a nice thing to do, and it keeps the growth down. Or if you're making trails in the woods or gardening, you can put this on top of your gardens, the flowers, and it keeps the soil moist, and you know, will eventually add some nutrients to the soil after it breaks down, which will take a while, but it does. So that's the electric wood chipper. I didn't put leaves into here because it's not quite late in the fall yet, but you can put leaves into the top and it will grind them into a fine hummus, like to decompose. You probably wouldn't want to mix the chips and the other vegetative debris, because usually you want to spread the chips on the top, and the other stuff will decompose. If you put them together, it's just going to take a long time to decompose. So I'd rather get soil. If I'm doing you know, maybe some leaves, do that first up top.